Okay, cool.
Okay. So how are you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Um, do you have anything you want to say before I ask you a couple of questions?
No, I'm just glad to be on this podcast.
Okay. So first of all, I guess can you just introduce yourself a bit for people who may not know you?
Yes. My name is Caudillo. I'm a first year at Cal Poly, and I'm on the cross country and track team. I run the mainly 1,500 meters and 5,000 meters.
Okay, great. So I guess I'll ask you first, like how you started running, when you started running, and like why.
Um, that's a good question. I say I started running since I was around 7 years old. I entered my first public event with my dad. I ran the just like a little like easy 2 miles with him, and I ended up
Mm.
winning that race. And I think ever since then, I've been running, I guess, competitively ever since.
Okay. So when you began running, would you call yourself like a natural, like you felt like you could go far in this if you stuck with it?
I'd say so. I mean, I can remember ever since I was little, all I wanted to do was run.
Hmm.
Like around my driveway, I would literally do laps until I burned myself out, and then I would go back out and do it again. So, I mean, I'd say so. And then after that, I mean, obviously I did other sports,
Hmm.
throughout like middle school and elementary, but I think running just stuck with me as just something I wanted to do. And I think I naturally just had a gift, I guess.
Okay. So what other sports would you do? And do you think like they contributed to building an aerobic base?
Let's see. Did, I was really big with baseball. My dad is, he did baseball at Fresno State. He was a pitcher.
Mhm.
Let's see, what else did I do? I did water polo, basketball, and volleyball. Um, Honestly, I would say in a way they kind of do help because
Mhm.
in a matter of, I'd say, in a matter of, what's the word I'm looking for? Let's see, how would I word this? Just, I guess, being able to work your body more in different
Mhm.
aspects. I mean, compared to runners who I've seen have never ran or done any other sports, I could see there's kind of
Yeah.
like a difference almost in their form, just
Mhm.
not as much of a natural athlete, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that if you don't do sports, you won't be a good runner, but sometimes you can see there's a difference every once in a while.
Mhm. So when would you consider yourself to become like a serious runner?
Ooh, that's a good question. Man. Well, I'll start off when I joined the cross country team at my old elementary school in third
Mhm.
grade. I took running so seriously. I was so just like competitive. I always wanted to win, things like
Mhm.
that. But at the same time, I was still a kid. I did a lot of kid things and things like that. And then I think I took it to another level once I hit high school. That's when
Okay.
I stopped doing all other sports and I came for high school just to specifically run. So I'd
Mhm.
say it definitely started in high school, freshman year.
Okay. So your freshman and sophomore year, can you like give a little bit of detail how those went and like what your PRs were maybe?
Yes, definitely. So well, freshman year for me actually, um, that was
Mhm.
COVID year during the track season, but during cross country was also a little bit, um, it was complicated. There was some transfer issues after they were approved about,
Mhm.
maybe like a month or so into the season. Like I said, there was transfer issues apparently. This was all after it was approved. And so unfortunately throughout almost the entire freshman year, I had to run, I wasn't allowed to run varsity. So
Oh,
I was
really?
always having to run with the freshman and sophomore and like JV races,
Mhm.
which, I mean, for everyone else, it wasn't that fair. Theorizing with my
Mhm.
teammates. Um, I ended up running 15:56 in the 5K my freshman year.
Okay.
9:38 for the 2 mile freshman year as well. And then track season, I only ran for I think, about 3 weeks. I ran 3 meets, and during that time period, I ran 4:26 in the 1600 and 9:20 during track. That was just after 2 meets. So I'm not sure
Mm.
if I would have been able to run probably pretty well. I got into the Arcadia for the freshman sophomore race. I'm sure that would have been fun, but it's okay. It ended up being a big learning experience. And then sophomore year cross country was also COVID, so I didn't run any times during that. But track season was when I really feel like I started to kind of learn how good I was able to be.
Uh-huh.
That was let's see, sophomore year I ran 4:09 and 8:51, which ended up being a national record for my age group, so under 16-year-olds.
Okay.
So
So when you were junior and senior, you're obviously in a very competitive state being in California. Like, how would it compare when you were racing top athletes that were like also racing some pro meets already? Like, what was like your mental state doing this and like how would you train to prepare for this?
it's a good question. Let's see. California, my junior year, I ended up winning the state championship,
Hmm.
which at the time none of the Youngs or Newbury Park was entered in it, so a lot of that was pretty much my only competition during the time.
Hmm.
So because of that, I mean, those were really the only guys I wanted to race with.
Yeah.
And then by the time New Balance Nationals came around, I was like, once I was there, I felt like that was a place where I belonged, was with some of the best in the nation. I think that just
Yeah.
naturally um, came along with me because, I mean, I feel like I know how well of a runner that I can be. And I feel like
Hmm.
being with these guys is where I'm really going to be able to show how good I am. So I'd say as much fun as it is in California, the competition at the time wasn't as fun. I like going against all the big top guys.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So how was your training looking like towards like the end of your high school career, I guess, when you were running some crazy fast times?
so was never really a high mileage guy.
Hmm.
Our coach, um, he used to be the head high school coach at a high school called Madera South, and over there he's produced some really good runners. Lalo Herrera, who actually runs for Under Armour right now. I think he got third this weekend at the Boston Marathon 5K. And
Okay.
in high school, he would run 90 miles a week, super high intensity workouts that
Mhm.
honestly no high schoolers should probably be doing.
Yeah.
And when he came to Clovis High, my freshman year, I ended up running around like, I was definitely hitting like 50 miles as a freshman and doing really
Hmm.
just like stupid hard workouts. And then I think after our first year, he realized that like he really needs to change that around. So I
Yeah.
ended up pretty much going back drastically. And I'd say I'd be running around 40 miles, 40 to 45
Hmm.
miles a week, with just recovery runs would be decently hard. They'd just be going like 6:30. So pushing a little bit more fast than usual. And then I'd also have
Hmm.
pretty high intensity workouts as well, but just at overall lower mileage, so around 40 to 45.
Okay. So when you were committing to college, what was the reasoning behind committing to Cal Poly?
Ooh, um, honestly, I kind of looked at the aspects that I feel like a
Hmm.
lot of other people don't tend to look at. I feel like in today's just like day, a lot of kids, when looking at a school, they think about the hype a little too
Yeah.
much. Um, but in reality, for me, I just wanted to go to the best place where I will be able to thrive the most and
Mm.
have a good team environment along with just having a cool place to live in general. Like I wouldn't want to live in Missouri or some
Yeah.
really kind of in the middle of nowhere, really bad conditions type of place. I mean, when I have a choice to go almost anywhere in the country, I mean, I feel like I should definitely choose at least some decent conditions as well. But
Hmm.
looking at my top schools, I ended up finalizing on University of Washington, University of Oregon, Georgetown,
Hmm.
Texas, Oklahoma State, NAU, and Cal Poly.
Okay. So, how has your training changed now going into college and racing obviously 8K and 10K instead of 5K cross country specifically?
I have definitely upped my mileage. Now I'm probably getting up to like
Hmm.
60s to 70s, which I mean, still even now compared to like 95% of all the other collegiate athletes, that's pretty low. But I think
Yeah.
just because I came from a lower mileage background, it's just kind of like slowly building up. But
Hmm.
it's definitely changed. It's now running every day, oftentimes twice a day, with
Yeah.
still some pretty high intensity workouts in as well. But definitely longer distance workouts has been a huge
Hmm.
focus and made the biggest difference. It's the running. I mean, now now running almost double the distance as I would in high school,
Yeah.
which so
Okay. So, going into this like upcoming track season, like how do you feel going off of indoor track season? Like what are your goals going into the outdoor season?
looking into the outdoor season, I think I honestly just don't want to put a limit to myself. I think
Hmm.
if I really try and put my mind to, I think Olympic trials is where I want to end up by the end of this season. Um,
Hmm.
but first I'd probably need to start out around, just hitting a regional standard in the 1500, which is right now 343. And
Yeah.
then that'll probably be the first standard to get for me, which will kind of
Hmm.
lead on to the rest of things down the line. But I really just want to see where I'm at, starting the first year. I mean, we've had two meets so far, which have gone pretty well, but it's kind of like me seeing what racing in college is like.
Yeah.
So after the first two races, I'm kind of figuring things out again. So
Hmm. So, how has it been going from like one of the top athletes to be going into like more of like a middle range when there's a lot more collegiate talent versus like high school runners?
it honestly, it's a huge change. I mean, I went
Hmm.
from being one of the top, like very like top few guys in almost every race I
Yeah.
competed in to now just like nobody even can like probably even see me in the race at some points.
Hmm.
So it's definitely a big adjustment, I'll say. Um, I think I'm definitely a front runner, which
Yeah.
I'm going to have to adjust a little bit more, but, it's definitely that transition. You definitely have to be used to, being
Hmm.
surrounded and having guys that are older and more experienced than you just kind of boxing you in, I guess.
Hmm.
So I think it's just a matter of just being able to block that out and focusing, I guess,
Yeah.
would really tends to help. But
Hmm.
um, but for the time being, I'm still gonna like probably be out in the front, like within the
Yeah.
top groups. I mean, I hate being in the middle, but over
Hmm.
time, I think it'll adjust more.
Okay. So going back a little bit, I guess, with your low mileage training, are you doing any type of like cross training with it to like compensate, or does your body just respond well to having fresher legs and stuff?
Yes, this whole first year, um,
Hmm.
since I'm a lower mileage guy, I've been cross training. I've been using the elliptical about 3 times a week. So once on a
Uh,
workout day, once on an easy run day as my double, and another workout day as my double. I'll be using
okay.
the elliptical to cross train.
So what's your favorite type of cross training? Elliptical or is it like biking or swimming? Do you do any of that either?
No, it's definitely elliptical. We have the option
Hmm.
at Cal Poly. We have the giant rec center with um, there's
Yeah.
swimming lanes. You have bikes, um, all these other things that I've never even heard of before. But yeah, I use this
Mm.
like fancy elliptical here, which is really cool. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
Okay, nice. So going off running a little bit, what are three like random facts about you?
Ooh, okay. I think the first one is I'm a huge outdoors guy. Um, that was actually something that kind of influenced where I wanted to
Hmm.
go is I grew up living out in the country where
Yeah.
I'm from. And so I would grow up doing so many things outside, whether it's like hitting golf balls or mountain
Hmm.
biking or, I even drew out a whole like disc golf course in my like front field. So
Hmm.
I'm a huge outdoors guy. Me and, my teammates will go mountain biking every once in a while because that's actually a huge thing to do here.
Yeah.
So that's super fun. But yeah, definitely huge outdoors guy. Another one is I'm pretty good at juggling. It was something that I took up this last summer because I was bored and I saw someone juggling. I was like, I wonder how long it's going to take me. And then I looked up a YouTube video and then I figured out in 15 minutes. And so now I'm
Nice.
pretty good at that. Let's see. Another third fact is random one. I'm actually an uncle to and my nephew and my niece, and they're actually pretty relatively close to me in age compared to my
Okay.
sister.
Really?
Yep, yep.
Okay. So now this is another kind of like not you specifically, but just kind of your mindset. Who do you think is
Hmm.
the greatest American distance runner of all time?
American business runner. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with my coach, and I'm gonna have to go with Craig Engels.
Oh.
Yeah, I think a lot of people haven't seen what he's been doing here.
Mhm.
Um, where he was at before, I don't really think that he's been at his best. I think
Yeah.
that there's been a lot of adjustments that he's gone through, and now that he's been here and he's back with his like college coach, which is Ryan Van Hoy, I think
Uh-huh.
currently right now he could be one of the top American distance runners. And if I had to choose someone else, I'd probably go with Jared Use. There should be a
Okay.
balance between those two.
Okay. So what are your like future goals, like finishing college wise?
Um, I think obviously I would like to graduate, but
Uh-huh.
if I could get is this like school related
Ye
mostly or just anything?
well, like running goals, I guess, by the end of your collegiate career.
Oh, running goes better than like things. Oh, it'd be cool to have a national title under
Mhm.
my belt down the line. I think signing an NIL deal with one of the major running companies would also be
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of connections here just with my head coach and like Craig being
Uh-huh.
here and then the other professional athletes that are here as well. I think
Yeah.
that would be awesome. And whew, I guess do something big that's never been seen before here at Cal Poly as well.
Okay. So after college, if you were to be able to sign with one brand, what brand would that be?
Ooh. No, that's a good question because there's a lot of factors I think you have to consider. I mean,
Mhm.
um, talking to Josh Kerr, I talked to him a while ago before he was as famous as he was, when
Yeah.
he like first signed with Brooks, um, he chose them because Brooks is a new and clean brand that genuinely cares about the runners in a most
Uh-huh.
more closer relationship.
Yeah.
And then Adidas, just because right now I've been kind of Adidas freak, being at a
Uh-huh.
Adidas school, which would be cool. And then Nike, because, it's Nike. It'd be
Yeah.
just awesome to say that you are a professional runner for Nike. I'd say between
Uh-huh.
those three would be my top selection, more ideal, I guess. I think I've always just wanted to be a Nike runner, and I like the
Yeah.
culture that happens with a lot of Nike athletes. So I'd say probably them first.
Okay. So in your like future, like post collegiate, do you want to run professionally?
Yes, definitely. That's been a goal of
Mm.
mine since I was, since as long as I can remember, honestly, ever since I started running. So
Okay. So
definitely.
what are your goals by like the end of your running career, I guess?
Um, by the end of my running career, oh, definitely be an Olympian. Um,
Hmm.
I got I gotta see like where I'm at. I mean, down the line, but obviously,
Yeah.
like a lot of runners out there. I mean, win a gold medal, be a world champion, be an Olympic champion,
Yeah.
um, set something like historic in your running event. Um, generally around those, I
Hmm.
honestly going all the way with running is something that I aspire to do.
Okay.
So
So I don't have any more questions for you, but if you have any for me, I could answer them.
yeah, let's talk about you. So you run, right?
I do.
Cool. How's that going for you?
It's going well. Well, just coming up
Yeah.
to we have states on Saturday, and we had a like region championship on Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Are you in middle school or high school?
Middle school, 8th grade.
Okay, and you're already having, oh, you have state championships for middle school?
Yeah, it's super competitive here. Like I'm like like in Georgia specifically, I'll be ranked like 21st in the country, for example, in the
Hmm.
3200, but 16th in the state. So
Wow. So it's very competitive down there in Georgia.
yeah, there'll be middle schoolers going 425 miles and like 940, 3200. It's absurd.
Yeah, that's not where I was in middle school. That's insane. So,
Yeah, it's crazy.
wow. Dang. So do you want to keep running? Like go like take
I
it to the
hope
fullest as
so.
well? Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think running in college would be a really cool experience and maybe professionally one day.
Yeah, that's cool. Where are your times right now?
So 5K is like 1730, which is from cross country season.
Okay.
Mile or 1600 is like 5 flat. It was like 5 flat .08, so I'm super mad I didn't get under 5.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And then 3200 is like 1040, but I think I have a good bit of time to drop in 3200 though.
That's good. When is your season end?
So states will be this Saturday. I'll probably then
Hmm.
go to running lane, which I'll hopefully qualify for New Balance Nationals there.
New Balance Nationals, is that the same one that all the high schoolers go to in Philly?
Yeah, it is. It's just different like days of racing for the middle schoolers.
Right, right. That's interesting. Dang, that would be a really fun experience for someone at your age to do. To be honest, like I don't
Yeah.
think I even realized that those races even existed when I was in middle school. I
Hmm.
mean, as much as I loved running, I didn't really know much of anything about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are definitely good goals, and I mean, you're right there. So be good
Hmm.
to see you take it to the fullest like that.
Hmm.
Dang.
Okay.
And let's see, what about the podcast? What are you trying to do with the podcast?
So I started the podcast last year, and I don't think I've ever actually
Okay.
told this story, but me and my brother were at a track work. We were like at a track doing a workout, and
Hmm.
I was running. I just finished up. I did my cool down. My brother had a couple more reps, so I was just waiting for him, and I was just like brainstorming random stuff, like just kind of like letting my mind wander. And
Hmm.
I was thinking, I really love running, so that would be cool if I could do something with it. Since like previously I had YouTube channels about like I used to do parkour, so I had a
Oh
parkour
yeah.
YouTube channel. So I was like, maybe I could do a YouTube channel of running. And I was thinking, I was like my brother just ran by, and I was like, he's going fast. And randomly, I just thought of the Run Fast podcast. So within like 2 weeks, I started collecting like some of the top high school Georgia runners and interviewing some of them. So, and then
Cool.
hopefully I have like a lot of big name athletes, but I'm still just struggling to like grow the podcast. So I'm still figuring that out
Hmm.
right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an easy process, but yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
saw you had some big names on here, like Graham Blanks. How was that?
Uh-huh. That was really cool. So
Uh-huh.
he used to live in Athens when he was in high school and stuff. So
Oh,
he had
okay.
like a run with blanks, like in Athens,
Hmm.
Georgia. So I convinced my dad to drive me up for like an hour and a half drive, and I ran with him. I told him about the podcast, and then he was like, and he like said I could interview him pretty much. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing this. This was fun to be
Hmm.
on.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I wish you best of luck to the rest of your season. And hopefully I could get an interview with you in the future.
Yeah, thanks, brother. You too.
Okay. See you. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thanks. See you.